Hello, welcome back to the interface. My name's Alex and today we're looking at the Genesis Electrified GV70. Now straight off the bat, the name of this car is a little bit confusing. So generally with cars, the manufacturer will refer to it as electrified if it's a hybrid or EV. However, what Genesis have done with this model and the other models that are electrified models like the G80 is they just called it electrified, which might make you confused if you're not too sure what this vehicle is. So the GV70 comes in either petrol or electric. This one here is obviously the electric one because you've got the custom number plate with the green badge as well. It's got GV70 by, which is quite nice. Genesis press team have a habit of putting quite funny number plates on their vehicles. So this one has a starting price of £64,500. This one particular, as tested, has quite a few option extras, so it is just under £80,000 at £78,500. We've got things like the innovation pack. The innovation pack has a lot of things on it, so we'll just put on screen what that actually entails. There's quite a few options in there. We've got Napa leather seats inside, we've got the convenience pack, we've got this Savile Silver paint as well, which is £750. But overall, it's a pretty big vehicle. We've reviewed a GV60 Sport Plus on the channel before, so check that video out in the top right hand corner or in the description down below. It's quite an interesting vehicle. Very similar, same battery technology, roughly the same range, same performance and that sort of thing. So this one, we've got a 77.4 kilowatt hour battery pack. And that should, on paper, give you a range of 283 miles. I think whoever's had this vehicle before has been absolutely hammering it because it has got a lot of power. It's suggesting about 227 miles of range, and it seems very accurate. We've got a heat pump as well, so in a cold winters, days like today, we've got the range is pretty accurate, to be honest. We've got four-wheel drive system, 146 mile an hour top speed, and 0 to 62 in the boost mode is 4.2 seconds. So around the front, we've got quite an elegant design. Again, like the GV60, people mistake this for a Bentley. We've got the wing-tipped badge here. We've got all this chrome going on and these quite nice sleek headlights. The charging port is actually at the front here. So all we have to do is click this button here and it sort of appears. It sort of blends very nicely into the grille there. And we've got a combo CCS2, so we've got AC there and we've got DC as well. Some of the charging specs are now on screen, but this does support up to 350 kilowatt DC, which means 10 to 80% in around 18 minutes. I have had some problems charging this so far, so I've tried to use it on a Tesla supercharger. One of the ones is actually open to third-party EVs. And long story short, and a lot of research later, the Ioniq 5, the EV6 GT and the Genesis vehicles, as of December 2023, they don't actually work with Tesla superchargers. Genesis themselves didn't know anything about it, but I contacted Tesla and someone there was very helpful. And they said that these vehicles are on the list of being non-compatible, but at the end of 2023, to end of this year, there's a software update going out to the Tesla chargers, specifically the V3 ones, because people with all those three vehicles have had problems charging. So it's not really a problem. The only downside is that other chargers are really expensive and the Tesla ones are quite cheap in comparison. So in terms of what the whole vehicle looks like, we've got a very stylish design. It's very elegant and almost looks like a Bentley, as I said. So let's have a look under the bonnet because there is a very small 25 litre compartment under there. So in here we've got the very small compartment like the GV60, the Ioniq 5, the EV6. 25 litres of space. There's a little cubby hole there for the tyre mobility kit, so that lives in there. There's not really much space. There isn't enough space to store the charging cables. They unfortunately do live in the boot. It would have been nice if Genesis could make a bit more room for the charging cables because there is quite a bit of room underneath there. So, but yeah, I'd hope with a more bespoke EV that something like that would come down the line. So you may be wondering what this big old thing is like to drive. So I've recently reviewed the GV60 on the channel, and from the outset, I think I prefer the GV60. The GV70 isn't a bespoke electric vehicle, so the GV60 is based on the same platform as the Hyundai Ioniq 5, the Ioniq 6, also the Kia EV6 GT, as well as some other vehicles from that Kia Hyundai group. I think the fact that this is such a bigger vehicle, it's got the same battery pack as the GV60, so 77.4 kilowatt hours. Officially, the range is 283 miles. In the real world, and in winter as well, it's about 10 degrees outside. I think you'd expect around 230 miles of range. In terms of efficiency, I've seen between 2.5 and just under 3 miles per kilowatt hour. So it definitely isn't the most efficient EV, but this is a big old thing. A lot of weight to carry around as well, and also the amount of horsepower, amount of power you've got with this vehicle as well. So I think based on how expensive this is, I think you would have expected a bit more range from this vehicle, just based on the price tag as well. But everything else, apart from the efficiency and the range, which is a little tiny bit disappointing, Everything else about the GV70 is absolutely sublime. So we've got really good quality ride. Everything in the interior is really good quality as well. So there's leather everywhere. I've got really fancy lighting system. So you can see I've got purple mood lighting. You can choose any color you want. There's a sort of a color wheel on the software you can choose from. Yeah, in terms of everything else that the GV70 is about and what Genesis have put into this vehicle, I don't think you can go wrong with the GV70, definitely. But personally, for me, having driven both for about a week now, so I had the GV60 in September, had that for a whole week to review. I had the GV70, obviously I've had this for a few days now. Personally, I just prefer the GV60. It's a smaller vehicle. I don't need anything this big. I just prefer the packaging that Genesis have done with the 60. There is one or two things with differences between the two, so there's not much price in it. So this is the Sport model, so this is the only GV70 that Genesis offer that's electric. It's the Sport model, so you've got twin motors, you've got four-wheel drive. The GV60 does come in premium trim, so you do get a different spec, but in terms of Sport Plus and what this is valued at, there isn't much difference between the two, and the GV60 has a bit more plastic bits and pieces inside. This has got a lot more metal items, so a lot of the buttons down here are all metal as well, and it seems like the 70 is a little bit better screwed together, but you're not going to notice much difference between the two, I'll be very honest. So just looking around the side of the GV70, again, like the front, a very premium, elegant design. Got lots of creases here, got a bit of chrome on there. We've got a black accenting between the front windows and the back windows. Got some roof bars on the top there. Not overly sure what weight this vehicle can take on the roof. We do have the optional panoramic sunroof on this model. I will put on screen what weight this vehicle can take on the roof, if any at all. So around the back of the GV70, the sleek, elegant design carries forward. So we've got these rear lights which are built into the tailgate there. Got a huge rear window with a rear wiper. I've got quite an aggressive spoiler there with some lighting built in. I've got the Genesis badge spelled out in letters, which is quite nice because that badge might not be recognisable to some people, so people wondering what it is, they can read the back of the car. I've got GV70 there. Also got some parking sensors, a rear view camera, which is quite dirty because the roads at the moment are pretty disgusting. And then to open the boot, there's a button here just up below the rear wiper. So you click that and the boot will open by itself. And then what you get is 503 litres of boot space with the seats folded up. With the seats folded down, it is 1,678 litres of boot space. And you can fold the rear seats down by pulling these handles here. So what you need to do is pull these handles here. There's a handle this side as well. And the seats fold down and that reveals quite a flat floor. You can get things in and out of there quite easily. It's good there's no lip between the rear seats and the boot space. And then this carpet is really soft. So all the materials on the side here are really good quality. It's all carpeted on the wheel arches there. And there's like Alcantara type material on the headlining and on the side pieces there. Just underneath here, there's a false floor. So just lift this handle up and you get a little bit of storage in there, some polystyrene protecting the bottom of the car. And then all you have to do is lift this section up. I'd imagine that's probably a battery system or where the fuel tank was in the petrol one. We've got a vehicle to load adapter there, some more polystyrene, 2 cases of manuals as well. So a lot of literature comes with this car, and then a netting low cover thing. And then just to close this down, all you have to do is lock this into place and it stays in position. And on this side, there's some lighting there and some tie down points. There's a outlet on this side, and we've got some more lighting and a 12-volt socket as well. And again, the handles to lower the rear seats. There's also a load cover here, which is fixed in position. So you can drag it towards you and you can lock it into place just there. And that'll keep your items away from prying eyes. And then to lower the boot, all you need to do is click on the button here and it will lower down by itself. But obviously being quite a luxury vehicle, do expect a fantastic ride. The performance on this thing is absolutely amazing. So you've got 0 to 60 in something stupid like 4 seconds. Just over 4 seconds when using the boost mode. So this does have boost mode, which is fitted as standard. And this one is just under £80,000, as I mentioned in the video. And we get things like the sunroof, the leather seats, and all kinds of different things that we do get. One thing that Genesis does really well is the infotainment. So I think it's the same on Hyundai and Kia cars. We get a very similar system to a BMW iDrive. So we can control Apple CarPlay and all the settings on the screen using this dial down here. I've got to say, it's one of the best infotainment systems I've ever used. One infotainment system that quite annoys me is the MG system. Touchscreen is not very responsive and it does seem to crash quite often, but Genesis has done a really good job with the infotainment on this car. A few other bits and pieces, Genesis offer a connected services app as well. You can remotely control the car, you can set the climate control system. You can see where the car is, see how fast it's charging. So that's a really, really good option on the Genesis vehicles. We also get some electrically operated seats, so we get massaging seats. Those will come on once an hour when you're driving to help you keep refreshed. There's electrically operated buttons down here so we can go forward, back. We can also adjust the the lumbar supports. We can get the side bolsters in here to grip you a bit better when you go around corners. We got some paddles on the steering wheel, so we do get regen on this vehicle. So you pull this one and you get iPedal, which is Genesis version of one pedal driving. My only gripe with that is it does turn itself off after every journey you get into the vehicle. So if you turn the car off, it will turn itself off. And also if you change gears as well, if you change out of drive, again, that will turn itself off. Climate control at the moment, Hyundai and Kia and Genesis do a really good job with the climate control system. So you've got lots of physical buttons down here, a few bits and pieces on the touchscreen, but there's enough on dials, so you can adjust the temperature with a dial, which is fantastic to see, especially in a world now we've got Volkswagen just having everything on the touchscreen, which is just infuriating. So this system's really good to use. We do get a lot of options in there. So inside the GV70, we've got a lovely, luxurious cabin. Got black leather everywhere, black leather seats. So these seats are part of the Napa leather pack. Again, prices on screen with how much that costs, but these are lovely, very soft, supportive seats with ventilation and heating built in. We've got a full leather steering wheel with support for the media buttons on this side, all the cruise control buttons down here as well, and we've got the boost button, which enables the full performance of the GV70. Got some metal tip stalks here, so we've got one for lighting on this side and all the wipers on this side. The lighting and the wipers are all automatic, so how often you'll touch these, I don't really know. And then down here, we've got the hill descent control, the lighting settings for the cluster there. We've got traction control on and off. We've got a way to open the boot, so if you get to Tesco Click and Serve, you can open the boot from this button here. Got the handbrake there, which again, you don't really need to access that often because the parking brake system does that all for you. So we've got some metal controls on here for the electrical windows and all the mirror controls, usual sort of stuff. Also got some profiles for different drivers, so you can have two different profiles and set them for different driver preferences, like speaker settings and what position the steering wheel is in, what position the seat is in as well. So everything feels like it's really well screwed together. We've got lovely materials everywhere. So Genesis in the interior have done an exceptional job. Up there, we've got the 14.5-inch infotainment screen with support for wired Apple CarPlay, wired Android Auto. It's also got the usual host of Genesis connected services. So in this vehicle, there's an eSIM built in, and we can get access to things like where the nearby charging points are, what the traffic is doing, parking situation. So the infotainment on the Genesis and also the Kia and Hyundai vehicles is absolutely top notch. And the way you control it is with the controls down here. So very similar to the BMW iDrive system, but the way this has been implemented makes navigating CarPlay and all the infotainment screens, one, less dangerous than it would be if it was a touchscreen, because your hand's doing that when you're moving, but also just a lot more easy to use. And also, like Mercedes models of old, you've now got the ability to draw letters on this touchpad here, so you can actually navigate different menu systems and search different things just by drawing out the letters on this touchpad, which is lovely. We've got the usual host of buttons down here, so we've got the ability to turn on all the cameras if you want to while you're driving along. We've got the drive selector and terrain mode as well. You can turn the parking sensors on and off. We've got physical controls for everything. So again, the Hyundai, Kia, Genesis group, they love to have lots of physical buttons for things, which I really appreciate. Again, on the steering wheel here, there's no haptic buttons, there's no weird joysticks or something. You've got very clear access to different settings. They're all on buttons. You've got stalks here for different things. So again, the Hyundai group is really good at that, and I really appreciate it. We've got back, home and menu as well, which is useful to get around the system on there. Again, I've got this joystick here for controlling different things. And then we've got the drive selector button. This isn't as fancy as the GV60. We've got that sort of orb which rotates itself around, but we've got reverse, neutral drive, and then park. And also we've got auto hold. Well done, Genesis. The auto hold button does not turn itself off after every restart of the vehicle. There's so many vehicles I've driven recently where the auto hold just turns itself off, which is mildly infuriating. So well done with that. We've got some nice deep cup holders down here with grips to support the cups. And then down there, we've also got wireless charging, and we've got two USB-A ports, one for the infotainment system, one for charging devices, and you can close that away if you want to. Nice and soft close on that, which is quite nice. And then down here, we've got the central armrest. So we've got some storage in there. Got a little tiny sort of divider piece there that slots into there quite nicely. We can store different things in there like the key, and there is also a 12-volt socket in there if you want to power some more devices and charge some extra appliances. And then for the driver, we've got an 8-inch infotainment screen, which gives you access to a lot of the settings of the vehicle, a lot of the status of the EV system as well. We've got a video live now on the Interface channel, in the top right corner, and in the description down below, which I go over everything you need to know about the driver's display, how to set different modes, and also the infotainment screen and what this whole system can do for you. There's too much content to cover in this particular video, so if you want to learn more about the infotainment screen, check out that video in the top right corner and the description down below. But overall, the clarity of the two screens and the performance of the whole operating system, I've not once witnessed a system crash. I've had that in some MG models, but it's a really, really good slick system, and I'm really impressed with what Genesis has done with this software implementation. So up here, we've got the controls for the sunroof. We've got a full length blind. We can also open the sunroof, so the whole window opens electronically. We've got the ability to turn off the alarms. We can control these lights with just a touch. Some microphones and different sensors there, and then there's a SOS button hidden behind a little door. So for the sun visors, we've got the usual kind of thing. We've got a mirror, and you can open up the little mirror there, and the light comes on by itself. And then quite interestingly, you'll see these little push button things in the whole roof. These are the microphones, and they are going to help make the whole driving experience quieter. So it's essentially ANC, so active noise cancellation. And like the GV60, it will listen to what noises are outside or inside, and it will cancel out those noises to make the cabin seem more quieter than it actually is, which is a nice luxury feature. So let's have a quick look in the back and see what you get. So for the back seats, Genesis have definitely outdone themselves again. Got a very luxurious space back here with a lot of headroom. So I'm 5'7", and I've got a good amount of space in between my head and the roof. Sort of I can get my feet underneath the driver's seat here, and there's a good amount of legroom here. We'll bear in mind that when there's no driver in the driver's seat, the seat will move itself forward, and then when you do get in the seat, it will move itself back. So just be aware that what you see here might not be the amount of legroom you do actually get. So we can also adjust the passenger seat here, so we can move the seat forward if we want to. So if there's no one in the passenger seat, but you are ferrying someone around, you can at least move the passenger seat forward and back. But overall, these leather seats are really comfortable. Definitely got a good amount of space, good amount of light coming in. And if you open up the sunroof, you'll see a lot more light back here. One nice Genesis feature, so all the ones I've seen, we've got these blinds. So all you have to do is open up these blinds here, and then you can get a bit more shade. It's good if you've got kids in the back of the vehicle. You don't want the sun waking them up if you want to have a nice peaceful ride. So I've got some grab handles up here with a little light built in and a light switch. Got a coat hook, so if you want to carry your suit jacket around. So down here we've got 2-stage electrical windows, and then we can also lock and unlock the doors. Every single door in this vehicle has the ability to lock and unlock all the doors from whatever seat you're in, which is quite a nice safety feature. So I'd imagine if you've been left in the vehicle by yourself, and you want to lock the doors for a safety concern, you can do that quite quickly. So just looking down here, we've got quite a nice climate control system. We've got 3-stage heated seats, so no cooled seats in the back, but they are at least heated. We've got some dials here to control the temperature in the back, and it's actually 2-zone in the back here. I will note in the GV60 there are actually air vents built into the side pillars. In the GV70 they haven't put that feature in. So we can change the direction of airflow. Do we want it on these ones, or do you want it below the seats? And then just underneath the climate control system there's a little flap which reveals 2 USB-A ports. So because of the back of the seats quite hard plastic, they haven't fitted traditional mat pockets. It's just a bit of netting there. You can put items in there if you need to. So for the bench here, it's a 60-40 split, and you can fold the rear seats down either from the handles on the side here or from there's some handles in the back. But there's no load-through cover in this central armrest, but there is at least 2 cup holders of a decent size. So if you have got drinks in the back, you can at least carry those with you. But overall, in the back of the GV70, it's definitely a nice place to spend a journey. These seats are really, really comfortable. We haven't got a completely flat floor back here because the GV70 isn't a bespoke EV from the ground up like the GV60 is. It's a petrol car that's had batteries shoved inside it. We have got some leftover bits and pieces from the petrol version, so there is a very small load hump in the middle there. But overall, yeah, I think the GV70 is a really, really good car. Obviously, it should be for the price tag it is. But personally, and just my own opinion, I do prefer the GV60. Simply, I like the styling on the GV60 a bit better, the overall package as well. And I think because it's a bespoke EV from the ground up, it does seem to be a bit more efficient. And that is my only gripe with the GV70. It seems to be not quite as efficient as what Genesis claims. So you do get 280 miles of range that Genesis claim. I think in the real world you get about 220, 230 miles out of it, especially in the winter as we are now, got 9 degrees outside. But that's going to do it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed my review of the electric GV70. Definitely check out Genesis vehicles. They haven't got any dealerships in the UK at the moment. They've got their boutique sales showrooms in different shopping centres like Westfield in London. But definitely go and test drive one. Definitely go and have an extended test drive if you can. They're not the most common brand in the UK. But they do offer a really good alternative to the likes of BMW and Mercedes, and I think they're definitely worth looking at. So once again, thank you for watching this video from The Interface. If you want to learn more about what we make and do, visit our website, theinterface.uk. I've been Alex, and we'll see you again next time.